I had to take a couple of hours. Hello, how are we doing? As Jimmy said there, I had to take a couple of hours as the Mariners slipped to another defeat, this time at the hands of Notts County, as it ended Grimsby 0, Notts County 2. And this one winces. It really does sting. And I mean sting. Basically, it was a case of, again, Town not taking the chances. I'll take you through what the opening team was. As you know, Danny Rose involved today through a knock, apparently, which we found out after the in the post-match. But Christy Pym started in goal. Harvey Rogers, Doug Tharm, Cameron Janet, Rhys Staunton, George McEachran, Dara Burns, Kieran Green, Evan Corey, and Charles Vernon, with Jays Cabia leading the line. And for Notts County and former Mariner, lone Mariner, Martin Patterson, who is now the manager of Notts County, Garoose, Macari, Platt and Badu was their back three. They then played with Cerula, Norburn, Iapenda, Bennett, Grant, Dennis and Jatta. That was the two teams that started the game. The Mariners, for the first 10 minutes or so, Notts County were sort of on top. They played with a tempo that Grimsby didn't really get to grips with very early on. I thought they were definitely the better side the first 10 minutes or so. I think, but even though that was the case, I also think that our backline kind of had their number, so to speak, in that attempt. There's no really clear-cut chances. They had two major ones, which I think one was from Dennis, and I think the other one was probably from Grant or Jatta. From where I was, I couldn't see it clearly, but I could see them both sky over the bar. But, two major chances early on for Notts. But after that, we kind of got to grips. I think Artel did say in his post-match that after about 10 minutes, we just tweaked a couple of things, and you could see it because we were taking the ball a lot higher up. We're making them make a few more loose passes, and McEachran was definitely doing the job in breaking the play up. I've got to say, in the first half, Rhys Staunton, some of the balls Rhys Staunton was putting in were absolutely delicious. If they were a plate of food, they would be absolutely delicious. I thought it was one of the strongest games Rhys has had in a black and white shirt, in a Mariners shirt. It was great. Some of the balls was great, but no one could really get on the end of them. Chaz was really, really taking on the Notts County defenders, especially it was Macari that he sort of had the number of. Dara was doing well down the other side, taking on Badu. Maybe not with as much success, but you could see that we started, the longer the half went on, the better we were becoming, without really too much joy. Evan Corey started to really get into the game a lot more than and tried to get a few shots off. I've always seen, because I've seen their goalkeeper Roos, and not the most confident. I won't say competent. I mean confident of players, but Town didn't have a good chance. I believe it was. Well, it was. It was good play from Vernon, Corey, and Cabia, and it got clear through, but a great save at his near post by Roos. I think it was done by Vernon, or it was done by Cabia, one of the two. And it was a good save by Roos, but it was a very good move. There was a good interchanging between those three players. Really, there was always some good move on there. Greeny was obviously doing his great charges forward. At times he made a couple of the wrong choices. He took a shot from about 45 yards, a la Harrogate, definitely in the second half. But, you think you're going in 0-0, you're going a very, very good game of football. I actually enjoyed the first half in general because it was two good footballing sides. Yes, Notts County weren't creating a great deal. We were in regards of dangerous play and things like that in regards to attacks. But again, got half time 0-0 and you're thinking, okay, good game. This is a good game. And you're thinking, well, it's this could be anything. But level at half time, you take that, and you're thinking, okay, let's regroup and go again. Then Notts County just at the start of the second half, they just came into a bit more. Again, they weren't really troubling our goal, but with the chances that we missed in the first half, a couple clear cut, a couple half chances, and some of the crosses that were going in was just seemed to be over everybody's head. It was sort of disappointing, really, to be like that. And you're thinking, okay, and Notts County started to find their way a bit early in the second half. And again, they're a good team. You've got to remember, Notts County are a good team. That they're up at the top end of the table. You can see why with the quality of player they've got. But their first goal came just before the hour, and a lot of people are giving Christie a lot of flack for this. Well, I'm going to give the flack to the entire defence, because why did we allow Dennis to take a shot from about 30 yards out? Where was the closing down on that? Yes, Christie probably should have done better, but I heard Artell in the post-match saying that there's 2 or 3 things before that. You really shouldn't be allowing a player of Matt Dennis's quality to take a shot off from there. There was nobody around Dennis. Whether Pym saw it slightly late, I don't know. But it was definitely definitely out of Pym's reach. It's definitely in the bottom corner, but that was their first shot on target. Their first shot, and it goes in. And you're thinking, oh no. I take it like this. If you get beaten by a side that's just playing better than you, and things like that, you can kind of accept that. One shot, he shouldn't really have been allowed to have the shot from where it was. So as much as we want to blame Christie for the goal, I blame the defenders as well. Where was the pressing on that? Where was the block coming in to stop that? We didn't, and then it was just like Matty Dennis just thought, well, I'm having a good season this season. They're giving me the room, so I'll take a pop. And it did, and it went in. And fuming, because you're thinking, Notts County really hadn't created too much in that regard. So to end up being 1-0 down just before the hour, Macari was credited with the assist. You're thinking, we could really have stopped that. And so blame the defence entirely, because it wasn't just Christy Pym, it was inability to react to closing the player down and letting them take a shot from 27, 28 yards. I'm not saying Christie's not at fault at all, because he'd probably feel like he should have saved that, but the shot shouldn't have been coming in the first place. The fact no one blocked it from that far out was shocking, really. And then, you're thinking, again, Town again got to grips a little bit, as we normally do, and after 70 minutes he made a double change. Evan Corey came off for Jamie Walker and Justin Malazor for Dara Burns, which did surprise me, because Burns had not been doing too bad, to be honest with you. I was surprised he came up, but then I thought he wasn't going to sub Vernon that early, was he? I say that, and then literally within 6 minutes did he take Reece Staunton off, and for some reason put Sunset Bell. I think he went for 2 up top then, I think, and then brought on Clark O'Dowd for Charles Vernon. Very, very strange that O'Dowd for Vernon. I wasn't sure why he did that, really, but he has his reasons. But we fell behind, and then he made the changes 10 minutes later, and like I said, made a couple more 5 minutes after that. And you're thinking, still most of the play was Towns, and we were still trying to create things. Kekrin again still breaking the ball up very well. Doug Tharm did go down initially with a knock, but Doug had a good game overall. We'll get into that in a second when I said what happened for their second. But Janet made a couple of loose passes towards the end, but I think it's just trying so hard to try and get yourself back into it. And in the end, we shot ourselves in the foot. I think it was definitely Tharm, I think, that had had what looked like he was trying to do a back pass to Pym, but Jatta sort of snuck in on him. There was 6 minutes of injury time, and you're thinking, come on lads, let's see what we can sort of do. And it looked like Tharm was sort of twixt in between. He wasn't sure whether to play it back or not. Then when he did try and play it back, he got not enough on it to get it back to Pym, and then Jatta just strolled in and slotted it past Pym for a second. And you're thinking, again, all game, I know Artell was trying to say that, the second goal was less of a mistake. It was just as big a mistake. But as you said, more likely to happen. Because, you're trying to get yourself back in it. That is 2 games running now, really, where, Shrewsbury had 1 chance, scored with it. Notts County's had 2 chances and scored with them. I mean, credit to them. They're a good side, and it was a strong side that started. They didn't do an awful lot. They didn't really worry us too much. But we come away from this with a 2-0 defeat. And there's no way you can't look at it and go, can you really accept that? I can accept, Notts County, top three. They didn't really lay that much of a glove on us after the first 10, 15 minutes. But they come away with a 2-0 win because they know how to take the chances. They've got players there that will take the chances. And that is what this game was proof of. You can play as fancy football and as good football as you like, but if you aren't putting the ball in the back of the net, you can be the prettiest team in the world. You don't put the ball in the back of the net, you get a situation like this. I've got to say that I think man of the match for Grimsby, I'd give it to Reece Stoughton. I thought he had one of the best games for him in a Mariners shirt so far. Like I said, some of his crossing was sublime, but there was nobody coming into those crosses. Some of them were way over hit by Vernon, but that also shows the lack of height that we've also got. You can't be putting balls in the way they are, because really, can the attackers really attack them? Unless they are absolutely pinpoint, the answer's no. Because you've got no real height from Rodgers or McJanet or, Tharm's got the height, but he's not going to really cause that many problems. And I was frustrated after Tuesday night. I'm more frustrated here because as good as Notts County are in the league, and obviously lying second, of course, third, sorry, you're thinking, yeah, of course. But when you don't create too much and you still come away with a 2-0 win, very good team, Notts County, very good football, but you don't mind as long as you know you've got prolific strikers up there that when they get the chances they can take them. We aren't there yet. Yes, we've scored 33 goals in the league this season, but I worry that when Town concede a goal, whether we really have we got the stomach for the fight, who knows? It's like I said, it's okay playing that fancy fluid football. Lovely play, but no finish. I was talking to the guy next to me, and he was saying we should have been 2 up. Yeah, but we weren't 2 up because we didn't take the chances to be 2 up. And I actually think that this next few games could be big for Artell. Not job wise. I'm not thinking anywhere near that. But he needs a good December. Well, he needs a good remaining December. Because if he goes into January and let's say he hasn't won a game for them, which is a possibility with the games that Grimsby have got left in January, in December, then you'd have to wonder what will people start saying. We can't pinpoint a single player like people have been doing with Pim and things like that. You can't allow quality players to have strikes like what they had. You have to close them down. And again, we have Grimsby again with this defeat, which in the end, obviously, Notts County were able to seal off with that second goal. That basically means no win. It will now be going into 2 months. since the Gillingham win on October the 18th. And an even more worrying stat, we haven't won against 11 men since Walsall, when we got the 1-0 win there. They're two worrying stats that would make you think, what is going on? Where are we lacking? We're definitely lacking height up top. I don't care what anybody says. Kabia cannot do that solo striker on his own. He can't do it. He's not made for that kind of football. If you're going to have to play direct, you need some height up there. And I don't think the one up top's working. Well, they call it 4-3-3, don't they? They've got it down here on the BBC's website as 4-1-4-1. It's not. It's 4-3-3. The only reason why it looks like it's 4-1-4-1, it's basically the wing backs, which is Rodgers and Staunton and McJanet and Thorne. But you look at it and you think to yourself, Rodgers won't overlap, but he works his butt off. McJanet, they're all good players. We're playing well, so to speak, but the results are really seriously not good enough. And Artel, I think, admitted that in his post-match. He can't keep talking about performances, because I can tell you this: it's okay talking about how good we've been on the ball and whatever else. Yeah, we are a good footballing side, but it's about results. And we have gone from October the 18th in third. We've dropped 9 places since then. After this loss today, down to 14th place. Something needs to be. We can talk about January, but we're not in January yet. No, we're not in January yet. We've got 3 more games this month. 2 of them being at Bundle Park, which will be Oldham and Shrewsbury. Good Lord, if we do not win both those games at Bundle Park, things could get very, very frosty a bit, I think. I don't know if I saw something where someone said Cam McJanet was having a little bit of a disagreement with a fan. I couldn't understand it. It's okay playing the good stuff, but in recent weeks, it's not been about that. It's been about being clinical. It's about you getting the chances, you're making the chances, but you're not putting them away. You're telling me that fans, we want to be entertained as fans. But I've always said I want winning football. I'm not bothered about this fancy playing it round gradually, or shall we say the Man City style of doing it. I'm about winning football. And at the minute, we're not doing that. We're playing some good football, but it's not helping get the results, is it? If you look at Notts County today, they weren't afraid to go direct if they had to. But we can't go direct because we haven't got, for example, a striker that can play alongside Kabia to go a bit more direct. It's just a very, very frustrating week for the Mariners, really. Basically conceded 3 shots, conceded 3 goals. You know, it is frustrating, and the Mariners lay down now in 14th. Not to be worried about, but obviously, you know, form needs to change around fairly soon. If we just quickly look at a few stats, like I said, the Mariners had most of the ball, 58% of the ball, means nothing, means absolutely nothing. 16 shots in general, that is 7 more shots than Notts County, 4 on target only 2 on target for Notts County, and they score with both of them. 29 shots in the opposition box, 29 touches, to Notts County's 20, and their goalkeeper, Roos, had to make 4 saves. Pym didn't have a save to make, apart from taking the ball out of his net twice. Aerial duels, we won that 33-15. Fouls committed, 15-13 in our favour. 6 corners to their 3. Again, it's stats again. Total passes, 413. Pass accuracy, 67% for the Grimsby. Forward passes, 200. Backward passes, they got us by 3. You know, all the stats again are leading towards us. But we're winless in 7. So that just shows you, stats mean nothing. Performance level means nothing. Apparently, I can't remember exactly where it was, but probably we hit the woodwork as well. All the stats lead to Grimsby should be winning these games comfortably. We're not. You know, and so you can't knock the fact that you can't say the lads aren't trying. You can't say the lads aren't playing well. But we cannot finish our dinner. We cannot finish our dinner right now. And we lost to, yes, a good side. But they didn't look a good side at all today. They weren't bad, because they did play some good stuff, Notts County. But they were good because they did what we didn't. And that was take the chances when they got them. We had more chances than them. I mean, to say their goalkeeper had to make 4 saves and Christy Pym didn't have any apart from, but he was the one that was taking the ball out of his own net. I think we know where, well, there's 2 things. We've got to start to actually have a striker that can start to take the chances, and we need to stop leaking at the other end. Because this is, you know, it's just, you know, we're being found out by, yes, being the fancy team, yes, playing good football, but is it getting us results right now? The answer is no, it's not. We might just be about to be able to scrap a point. And to be fair, you know, when I do the preview for the next league game, Bromley ain't a team that you want to go to when you're struggling to put the ball in the net. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens over this week, but, you know, I'm going to try and be as positive as I can, but all the stats, reading the stats, you're going, how are Town losing these games? We're not putting chances away. That's why. We can pass a team off the park. It means nothing when you're not getting the results. So guys, if you were there, let me know what you thought. There was 7,082. Not careful, we'll go to below 5,000 the way that we're going. But let me know what you guys thought down below. My final thought is this. We're playing good football. But now, don't worry about football. Just get the results that our stats are saying we should be getting. We've got to be more clinical. Because there was nothing in that between Grimsby and Notts County. absolutely nothing, but it makes it look like Notts County had an easy afternoon, and they didn't. But let me know what you guys thought down below. And, you know, like I said, I'm not talking about the manager's job. It's not anywhere near that sort of level of talk. But 2-0, you know, no winning seven. That's not really acceptable, you know. But leave me your thoughts down below on the game. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And let's hope that we can try and turn the chances that we're getting into points. Let's hope. But let me know down below what you guys thought, and I will see you in the preview for Bromley, which, by the way, is next Saturday. It's the early kickoff, but I'll be back to talk about that later on in the week. In the meantime, guys, up the Mariners, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you soon. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.